Yo, welcome to the Terrio Talks podcast for another episode. We're going to talk about Bam Adebayo's big 83-point night against the Washington Wizards. Where do I start? So, uh, just looking at the night, I think the first thing we want to do is give a big congratulations to Bam Adebayo. I don't think anybody wants to knock Bam for what he did. He came out and did what he was supposed to do. If you are a great basketball player or a basketball player for that matter in any capacity, if they're going to allow you to score points or if your teammates want you to score points and you're out there, trying your hardest, trying to get out there and do what you're supposed to do, I'm not mad at Bam. I think Bam did what he was allowed to do. He didn't break any rules. He came out there and played basketball. So let's just start off with that. Congratulations to Bam Adebayo. No hate at all. Now let's get to the matter at hand. The fact that Bam Adebayo had 83 points. Anybody who watches, not casuals, I'm not talking to the casuals out there. All you casuals out there that's watching my podcast, that's watching this stream right now, please don't hit me with no garbage talking about you hating and all of that. I'm not hating. I'm just keeping it real. When we look at Bam and what he did, 83 points, again, good for him, but we got to look at the context of everything that happened. As long as I've been watching basketball since I've been 8 years old, and as long as I've been watching basketball, I can say I've never, I don't know if I've ever seen anything quite like that. And in a million years, I would have never thought that Bam Adebayo, of all the players in the NBA, would be the one to score to beat Kobe's 81 points. Rest in peace, Bing. But when you look at what he did, again, good night. But nobody would have picked Bam Adebayo out of all the stars in the league to go out and score 83 points on a random Tuesday night, no matter how bad the team is. I mean, Bam Adebayo would be one of the last choices because that's just not his game. I mean, he can score the basketball, but he's not Bam's not a 30-point type of game guy. You'd be surprised if he'd go out and get 30 points. So for him to score 83, I think shocked everybody. But let's just talk about some of the context of it. First, let's look at the Wizards. Where's the Wizards' pride at? Like, you're professional basketball players. Like, where is your pride? Where is your heart? Do you not care that your name is now attached to this game in history? Like, I don't even know who the hell all the players were. I think Alex Sarr may have been out there. I've watched a few Wizards game with him, but if I'm a professional basketball player, a professional anything, I don't want my name attached to something like that. So when the history books look back and see who the hell let Bam Adebayo score 83 points, everybody on that court, you're attached to it, including the coach. So if I'm a Washington Wizards fan, and I don't know how many of those are actually in existence, but the ones that are out there, I feel bad for you because how do you let that happen? I mean, you got paying fans there, people are watching the game. I just don't understand how you let Bam Adebayo score that many points. The coach, if you ask me, as a coach, you a coach. You looking at a guy go out and trying to embarrass your team, dude. Go tell one of your players to knock him on his ass. Do something to prevent him from going out here and embarrassing your team like that. When he scored 30 plus points in the first quarter, that would have put my antenna up immediately to try to do something to slow him down. But clearly the Wizards are the Wizards. That's why they're the Wizards. They're bottom of the league type of team. So, and they've been that way for a very long time. So I mean, what can you expect from the Wizards? Now let's look at the stat pattern part of it in terms of what he was doing at the end of the game as well, because I didn't really like the fourth quarter. I know they were kind of trying to get him to break that record that Kobe had, and it just seems like they were doing things that just isn't basketball. Like I watch basketball most of my life, and that's just not basketball. You know, when you're up a certain amount of points, you're not gonna start fouling the other team just so this guy can go get, you know, a few more points on the board. That's just not basketball. That's Bush League. That's some, I don't know, something that you might see in a high school game. I don't even know if you see that in a high school game. So for the Heat to do that, I thought that was just kind of, again, no hate on Bam. Bam did what he had to do, but for the Heat and Coach Spoelstra to engage in that, I thought that was a little bit corny. But you know, it is what it is. Again, the Washington Wizards didn't make any adjustments. The coaches didn't seem to really make adjustments to make sure that that it didn't get out of hand to that point. But you know, they did what they needed to do in terms of the Heat, what they felt they needed to do to get him that record. But let's talk about when you look at his game compared to like what Kobe did with the 81 points. I mean, I remember watching that game with Kobe, and he was facing the Toronto Raptors. And Toronto, you know, they weren't the best team in the league, but they weren't like, you know, awful. They weren't like the Wizards at all. It was a real basketball game. If I'm not mistaken, the Lakers were down in that game. They're actually losing. So Kobe helped to bring the Lakers back, all in the midst of getting that 81 points. It wasn't just like, okay, the Lakers are up 30 points and, you know, Kobe's just scoring and scoring and scoring. He actually was trying to win a basketball game. It was a real basketball game. He was facing double teams, triple teams, different defensive schemes to stop him. The Raptors just couldn't stop him that night. They talked about it. I mean, he's had an historic night. I think that's why everybody respected it at the time. And at that time, I wasn't even a huge Kobe fan, but I even had to look and say, well, you can't deny him because I watched the game. What he did was what he did, and it was you know, a big deal at the time. It still is. I mean, when I look at this record, I still look at Kobe's game as a better game to me. When Kobe had 81, I look at that as a better game. I didn't see Wilt's 100, obviously. I don't think anybody did. Nobody did. You know, I saw Michael Jordan. I watched the game where he scored 69. That was a great game. But yeah, I don't really put this 83-point game up high for me on the list of historic games where I was like, oh yeah, I remember when Bam scored 83. I mean, I'll remember it for the wrong reasons. Like, yeah, that was the night when, you know, Bam Adebayo, you know, pulled his best Michael Jordan impression on the Wizards, and the Wizards just stood there and let him do it. So I thought, you know, that's just odd to me. Another thing was, it just, you know, it takes away from, I don't know, like, this is basketball, man. Like, Kobe's night was legendary. Like, it wasn't just about a stat line. This is what makes people look back on guys' careers, and they look at their legacy. And I just look at it like, man, when we watch Kobe do what he did, people don't forget the 81-point game. It was huge. That was a big moment in the NBA. I don't know if they were just trying to manufacture something like that again. Maybe because it felt like, you know, they were just trying to create a moment, and I get that, but this wasn't it, y'all. I mean, this just wasn't it for me. Again, you know, once again, congratulations to Bam Adebayo. I don't want to rain on his parade. I'm hoping that he enjoys this moment, because I don't think he'll be getting another 80-point moment anytime soon or anything close to that. If you watch him play, he's not that kind of player. But again, good for Bam. Shout out to Bam Adebayo and the Heat. They, you know, they did what they felt they needed to do. They created some kind of moment. I don't know if it was good for basketball. It's certainly good for basketball talk because people are talking about it. But not my cup of tea, not my bag. Let me know what y'all think in the comment section about this night. Do you rank Bam Adebayo's 83-point night higher than Kobe's? Do you look at it like, okay, this was one of those nights that, you know, shouldn't be remembered, you know, or should be remembered? Do you look at it like it's truly an historic night and it's something that we're going to be looking back 10, 20 years from now like we did? Because I think it's 20 years now that Kobe's 81-point game had happened. Are we going to be looking back 20 years from now and still talking about this Bam game? Or is it just going to go by the wayside and nobody's going to be talking about this anytime in the near future, or the future for that meaning at all? So